We love that Dear Abby on this show, whoever she is. I think there's something creepy about a woman named Abigail Van Buren who refers to herself as Dear Abby. Well, then, I don't know if she died or retired or what. She's alive?
I think she has Alzheimer's.
Oh, she has Alzheimer's or something. We're not sure. She's got something going on. So she dishes the column off to, is that her daughter? Is that the deal? Her daughter, somebody named Jean Phillips. And now Jean Phillips calls herself Dear Abby. And then the column tells you every day that the column is written by Abigail Van Buren, also known as Jean Phillips, which is not true. Jean Phillips' mother is Abigail Van Buren. Last I looked, we're not calling women Junior. Abigail Van Buren Jr. But regardless, whoever's writing the column, we do read it here religiously. Because Dear Abby does kind of the same thing that we do, only it's perverse. I mean, you think our show is bad? That Dear Abby column is like our show on acid. Not that I'm implying that Jean Phillips is on acid or anything. I'm just saying the perspective is rather bizarre. Here you get the truth on this program, and Dear Abby, you get this, in my opinion, suspect advice. Here is the Dear Abby column from just recently. Dear readers, says Dear Abby. Now, I must have been out of town or not read the paper the day that this particular letter came in, but fortunately, Dear Abby will get us up to date. Dear readers, a 38-year-old man wrote to me saying he has never married. See if this sounds like stuff you hear about on the Tom Leykis Show, by the way. Man in his 30s, he's never married. And he said that when he was in his 20s, women ignored him or told him he was, quote, nice, but boring. Or that he didn't have enough money. He said that women want only bad guys or men with deep pockets. I can tell you this. The guy who wrote in, he's a listener. There's no doubt about it, he's a listener. No doubt about it. He goes on to say in the letter to Dear Abby, he said, but now that they're past their prime and have 2 kids that the bad boy left them with, he is now good enough. And he concluded by saying, if I wasn't good enough for them then, why should I be good enough now? Now, is that the most insightful commentary you've heard from anybody writing to Dear Abby in a long time? Is that the most insightful thing you ever heard? Poindexter, who spent his 20s with the pocket protector, but was reliable, dependable, smart. He saved, put money in his 401k every week, put money in his IRA, spent his Friday and Saturday nights reading because women didn't find him attractive, did sensible things with his life, didn't take any outrageous risks, nothing like that. While women were running rampant with bad boys, getting knocked up and what have you, Poindexter was there, like the old story, the ant and the grasshopper. There he was, saving, investing, planning, being reliable, coming home every night at 6:30, having dinner, whatever. The most reliable guy on the block, and he was too boring. Didn't have enough money, and he was boring. Well, guess what? After years of saving, investing, working on his career, whatever, no doubt now he makes more money. No doubt he has saved and invested his money. And meanwhile, he's exactly right. These women are now past their prime, and they've got the 2 kids that the bad boy left them with. Exactly right. And now, the very same kind of women who found him boring in his 20s now find him fascinating. I love this. Well, listen to what Dear Abby had to say about this particular letter that she had received. Here's what she said. She said, frankly, I found his attitude offensive. I advised him that if he was still dating women as shallow as those he had tried to date in his 20s, he should not involve himself with any of them, that he would be single forever, and I suspected that that's the way he wants it. By the way, now that Poindexter has made it to 38 years old and doesn't have some woman's hand in his pocket, doesn't have any obligations, has money put away, it is his opportunity. Forget about being married. Poindexter should be single forever. And now what should he do? He should pay these women back by just banging one 20-year-old after another, pumping and dumping as many as he possibly can. And then all those desperate housewives who are running after him, screw them. Forget it. Who wants to clean up some other guy's rubbish? I love using the word rubbish. It's so retro. Rubbish. Dear Abby goes on to say here, some readers felt that I didn't look deeply enough. And then she goes on to present letters of response to this original exchange. Here's one. Dear Abby, please suggest to that man that it's possible the women he mentioned have now matured. And realize what qualities are important in a male, a father, and a role model. Well, again, you know what? The reason they've matured is because they got knocked around by all the bad boys while they were ignoring Poindexter. And now they deserve the punishment they're going to get. To be presented with a bunch of low-income losers who'll be lucky to get anybody. Rather than guys of means, guys who've saved, guys who've been responsible. Yeah, they look real attractive now, don't they? All you 35-year-old women who ignored Poindexter when you were 21 years old, oh, yeah, you'd love to have him now. Tough. I've always said, you know, when I was in high school, I wasn't Poindexter. But I had a high IQ. I was one of those precocious kids. It was very difficult to get the attention of a lot of the women I went to school with. Till I went on the radio at 14, and then I was really cool, boy. I'll tell you what, I turned cool like overnight. And now every time there's a high school reunion at my old high school, oh yeah, I get the invites. The women I went to school with who wouldn't touch me back then, who wouldn't talk to me back then, they want me today. They want me now. They want my 7-figure income and my, essentially my money, power, and fame. They just like to sniff the fumes, you know, they'd like to get near it. But now that I've worked so hard and done so much and taken so many risks that have paid off and whatever, as I always say, I don't go to high school reunions because, girls, I can afford your daughters. I don't need to go out with you. Your daughter, who won't talk to the other 19-year-olds at school, she'll talk to me. That's right. Mom, why don't you tell your daughter how you used to ignore me in high school? You can tell her right before I start banging her. You do that. Oh, yeah, they're more mature now. They've matured. Now they realize what quality they need in a male, a father, a role model. Yeah, well, of course they have. Of course they have, because they went to the school of hard knocks. They went to the school of the stretch mark. That's where they went. Now they know what they need. They need the guy they treated like crap 10 years ago. That's who they need. The guy they ignored. The guy whose phone calls they wouldn't take. The guy whose invitations to dinner they spurned. That's who they need. The letter goes on to say, too often young women think that a fast, wild, carefree romance is the ticket to happiness. Well, it is for me, I'll tell you that. Bang, bang, boom. With a condom, of course. Too often, the letter goes on to say, by the time they wake up and realize the boring, kind, stable guy was a far better choice, they have children, a broken heart, shattered dreams, and are trying to piece their lives back together. Can I tell you something about that? That's the ultimate revenge for Poindexter. All those 38-year-old women out there who now wish they'd gone with a sensible guy, a guy who you don't have to wonder where he is at night, a guy who shows up with his paycheck every night and doesn't bet it at the track, a guy who has a paycheck, a guy who takes a bath once in a while. A guy who knows what responsibility is all about? Yeah. Oh, yeah, now you'd like him. But guess what? He's dating your sister. He's dating your sister's daughter. He's not dating you. Screw you. You had your chance. I want all the Poindexters of the world. I know there are a lot of you listening out there. I want all of you out there to do what I'm telling you. Do not fall for it. Do not hook up with a woman with some other guy's kids and end up paying the bill for some irresponsible guy she banged. Forget it. Forget it. If you're 38 today, that 21-year-old that you can have, she was 4 when you were 21, and the women you wanted weren't talking to you. She was 4. She wasn't even in kindergarten yet. And now she's all yours. She's all yours, baby. It's the ultimate revenge. God, it's good. People in this Dear Abby column talk about it like it's a bad thing. It's great. Love it. So girls, while you're out there getting tattoos and banging 3 guys a day and getting knocked up and forgetting your birth control and all that stuff, remember, later on, here's the future. You're 38 with 2 kids who are going to be knocked up by the time they're 12. And Poindexter's got his IRA and his 401k, and, he's just licking his chops waiting to be 38 so he can start dating 21-year-olds, because he couldn't date them when they were 21. My only hope is that the Poindexters of the world don't fall for any of this stuff. They don't get married to one of these bitches. I'm hoping they wait till they're 21 and then start nailing until the girls are 21, start nailing them then. You're 38, she's 21, go, go, go. Pay them back for ignoring you. It's the ultimate revenge. You don't have to do anything violent. You don't have to do anything mean. You don't have to do anything underhanded. You don't have to get back. The best revenge is nailing 21-year-olds when you're 38. That's the best revenge you can get. Suddenly all the 38-year-olds who ignored you when you were both 21, they're licking their chops. You're looking pretty good now. Don't fall for it. You just nail one 21-year-old after another. Pump them and dump them. Hit him and quit him. That's it. Toss him aside like a used Kleenex. Toss him aside like an old orange rind, baby. Just drop kick him to the uprights. And go on to the next. This letter to Dear Abby continues. I don't believe these women are looking for a meal ticket. Yeah, right. But rather someone they can love, respect, and trust to help raise their children in a safe, loving environment. Didn't worry about that when you spread your legs for the guy in the motorcycle jacket, did you? You weren't worried about that then. It's sad, the letter says, that man is so negative and stuck in the past instead of trying to build a future with someone. You were right, Abby. He probably will end up alone, because there are men who will step up to the challenge of being kind, loving stepfathers to the children and loving husbands to women who made unfortunate choices in the past. I know, because I married one. Signed, Happy Mother of 4 in California. Where's the husband of that bitch? Sucker. Another letter. Dear Abby, I have encountered the same attitude that writer describes, and the women weren't all shallow or conceited. They simply believed they were due more than a decent, loyal, and honest guy. It's no different than the man past his prime claiming a trophy wife because he feels he deserves it. And everyone agrees that's a despicable attitude. I don't agree. I don't agree. A man makes more money, becomes more successful, he gets to trade up. Just like his vehicle. After you've driven, putting a few miles on the odometer, ridden her hard over a few speed bumps, it's time to go into your local Mercedes dealer and trade in for a new model. That's the way it works. Let somebody else drive your used Mercedes. That's my attitude. Telling you right now, I loved my 1997 Lexus LS 400. What a great car that was. I got it when it was brand new. Leather seats. That new car smell. No mileage on it. The odometer said 0,000,000. God, I love that car. I was showing it off to everybody. Look at my car. Look what I got. Look what I can afford. Look at it. A couple of years later, don't take it to the car wash so often anymore. A couple of dings, a couple of squeaks, a couple of rattles. Sure, it's still a Lexus, and it was still a wonderful car, but you know what? I could afford a 99. And so what I did was I took it to my local Southern California Lexus dealer, and I traded it in. Now, out there somewhere, there's a man driving my Lexus 1997 LS 400, and he's showing it off to somebody. And somebody's going, how long have you owned this car? Oh, just owned it a couple of months. It's like, okay. All right, yeah, Lexus, very nice. But guess what? I've already ridden in it. It doesn't have that new car smell anymore. I rode it over the first few speed bumps, baby, and I rode it hard. I did. Now somebody else is driving it. Do I care that somebody else is driving it? No. Poindexter, have a good time. Enjoy my old car. Just remember, we all rode it at first. And we traded it in. And do you find that attitude despicable? Tough luck. That's my attitude. Women are luxury cars, okay? You want to get them when they got the new car smell, and the minute you've broken them in, the minute they start to squeak, it's time to trade them in for new models. Younger, newer, better-smelling models. Less miles on the odometer. No miles if possible. That's right. Nothing wrong with that. As I always say on this program, there's nothing wrong with a Toyota Corolla. Boy, it's the most reliable car out there. Never let you down. Always be there. Not the best-looking car in the world, and not terribly stylish, but very, very reliable. And yet, is anybody driving a Toyota Corolla because that's their dream car? Is that what they want? If a driver of a Toyota Corolla won the lottery tomorrow, would they still be driving a Toyota Corolla? No! They'd trade up. Something newer, more luxurious, fresher. Something a little more comfortable. Something quieter. That's right. Lots of guys have relationships with a Toyota Corolla or a Kia. Any Kia. Hyundai. Nothing wrong with these cars. They get you around. They get you from point A to point B. But if you could afford a Testarossa, you'd be trading up. You'd kick that car right out. Is that a despicable attitude? No, that is what relationships are about for guys. Women are cars. They're cars in every way. The letter goes on, saying, media that constantly tell us from every direction, more than ever before, that the highest level of physical attractiveness is acceptable in a mate. That concept is shallow, but it affects an awful lot of people who aren't. It feeds on our deepest insecurities, the junior high self who is ostracized for being different and who never truly goes away. By placing the blame for the man not dating back on the women, you ignored the true problem for both men and women and invalidated someone who may have an accurate view of his world. Seeing reality is the first step toward changing it. Signed, Madison, Wisconsin, male reader. And Abby wrote back, I think you hit the nail on the head. Thank you for your shrewd analysis. You taught me something today. Well, Abby, if you listen to the Tom Leykis Show, you'd already know what that guy was saying. You would already know. You would already know. Anybody think this guy who wrote the original letter to Dear Abby needs what Dear Abby calls an attitude check? Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
I don't like you.
Why not?
Because I'm listening to you.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Yeah, the Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Sasha on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Sasha.
What's wrong with you today?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Are you kidding? I'm feeling my oats today. Feels good to read this story and hear about this guy who, now he's 38 and he realizes he shouldn't hook up with a 38-year-old who ignored him when he was in his 20s.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I can hear his side. I can hear your side, that regard. But you sound really bitter. You, I'm talking about.
Why do you say that?
Because you're talking about the same old stuff, the new car.
How would you know if I'm talking about the same old stuff if you don't listen every day?
I don't listen every day.
Well, how would you know if it's the same old stuff?
Because I hear you talking about your Lexus.
But you couldn't if you didn't listen.
I said I listened a lot.
Oh, you listen a lot. Okay.
Yeah. I hear about your new cars and your Lexus.
Yes.
The new car.
Yes, indeed.
Seven-figure number and the banging the chick bit.
Well, and you think that sounds bitter to be happy about that?
No, but what are you going to do when you get old?
Same thing I'm doing now.
Well, you're pretty old.
Maybe a little more slowly.
Huh?
Well, darling, you would know about what it's like to be old, wouldn't you?
Well, I'm 43. Yeah, I'm getting there.
Yeah, you sure are.
But I'm not where you are.
No, it's okay, dear. You know what, though? It doesn't matter how old I am. When you got money, it makes no difference.
I'm doing okay.
Really? How much do you make, darling?
That doesn't make any difference what I make.
Well, dear, I tell you, I have a 7-figure income. Do you?
No.
Do you have a 6-figure income?
No.
No. So, bottom line, dear, for me, it really doesn't matter how old I am.
Well, when you get like 70, what are you going to do then?
What do you mean, what am I going to do?
Sit in the mansion and look at how...
Oh, that'd be terrible, huh? Yeah.
Smell your cars instead of the crumpet.
Well, dear, again, you know, I know to be a wrinkled-up old bag like yourself, I know there's a little bit of baggage there, and I know you're angry about it. By the way, what's your husband's name?
My husband's name is Arthur.
Arthur?
Yeah.
Well, what a lucky man he is.
Horrible. Why?
I said what a lucky man he is.
Well, he seems to think so.
Yeah, well, that's what he tells you when he's home and he's not banging his secretary.
No, he hasn't a secretary. He's, right now, he's in...
Not successful enough to have a secretary, is he?
No, he's in the military.
Okay, very good. We know how well that pays.
It pays pretty good.
Really?
Well,
what, 40,000?
We manage. We're happy.
Huh?
Excuse me?
What does it pay, 40,000?
Well, we don't discuss money, Tom.
Oh, please, dear. It's a matter of public record how much they make in the military.
How much do you make? Let me ask you
I'll put it this way. I make over $1 million a year.
Well, I'm really impressed.
Yeah, and clearly you guys make under $1 million. Way under $1 million.
Come on, of course we do.
Way under.
Yeah.
Way.
Ridiculously under.
Because if you were really attractive at any point in your life, you'd be with a guy paying a lot more.
I was beautiful. I was.
Really? Yeah, well, and so you couldn't do any better than that?
Probably, yeah.
I bet you could.
I didn't wait.
Right, so in other words, you took Arthur, even though you could have done better.
Probably.
Why don't you send Arthur a letter there in Iraq or Afghanistan, wherever he is, tell him, Arthur, you know, I'm with you, but I could have done a lot better than you. Why don't you tell him?
I don't say that.
Why not? Why don't you tell him?
Financially, I could have done better.
Oh. So he's the best possible man you could have had?
He's a good man.
Is he the best possible man you could have had?
What about your phone?
Is he the best possible man you could have had?
Are you going to cut me off now, Tom?
Well, maybe I will.
Well, let's talk about what you're going to do when you're 70, 75.
There, you've said the same thing over and over.
Yes, rocking chair time.
Doesn't matter.
Yes,
doesn't matter. With money, I could hire you to wheel me around.
You know what? That's all you do talk about is money and sex.
Guess what? Because those are two things I've got a lot of.
I know.
And two things you don't have a lot of.
That's true. I don't have a lot of money, but I have a lot of everything else.
Really? Sex?
Yeah, I do have my share.
What, yeah, really? And is your husband ever around when you're having it?
Of course.
Really? Well, if he's in the military, you know, he's probably on the road a lot.
Well, I can wait.
You can wait. Patient. That's my point. I don't have to wait. I've got it tonight.
Oh, well, whoop-de-doo for you.
Well,
that's why I'm a female.
That's why I'd love to be with a woman like you who's so sexy, so sexual.
You are?
Ooh, you're turning me on.
You are?
No, dear, you I'm talking about.
I didn't
I know at your age the hearing starts to go, darling. I understand, but I was talking about you.
Always age with you, Tom.
Age, money, sex, that's right. I can afford young women, hot women, who don't give me any lip like you.
Do you hear that? The key word, I can afford.
Yes.
What if you didn't have money? What could you
I have money because that's part of who I am. I'm a successful individual.
Well, I'm
nothing wrong with having money. I have money by design, darling. I took risks.
Well,
I refuse to have children or get married to people. I refuse to get stuck in the quicksand with somebody.
Well, I only had one.
Back at Long Island, long time ago.
I know Long Island. Yeah. My sister lives there.
Oh, there you go. How long ago did you have a kid?
How long ago did I have a kid?
Yeah. How many decades ago?
15 years ago.
15 years ago?
Yeah.
Son or daughter?
A daughter.
Daughter. Is she attractive?
Beautiful.
Really? I'll put her on the tickler file for 2008. You you can watch me nail her, or you can just hear rumors.
You know what? The best thing that you've got going for you is your sense of humor.
That's right. That's why I'm so rich. I'm paid by the laughter. I just got another bonus right there. Are you kidding me?
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
If your boyfriend makes $28,000 a year, you are hideous.
The Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. We're talking about a Dear Abby column again. Dear Abby upset about a 38-year-old man who wrote in saying he was never married. That when he was in his 20s, women ignored him or told him he was nice but boring, or that he didn't have enough money. And he said that women want only bad guys or men with deep pockets. But now that they're past their prime and have 2 kids the bad boy left them with, now he's good enough. Dear Abby was very offended by this. And I think the guy makes perfect sense. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Ramona on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Great.
I agree with everything that you're saying. I don't think a man should have to take care of another woman's kids when the original dad should do it. But what about women who are, I'm 32, I don't have any kids, I'm not looking for a bad boy, I have a decent job, a decent car, a place to live. Where are the good guys? I mean, they're going after all these gold diggers and these bitches.
Well,
so
dear,
I'm trying to figure out.
The good guys are out there, but when you're 21, you want the bad guys. When you're 25, you want the bad guys.
I didn't want the bad guy because I knew they were ass.
You know, that's exactly why women do want them.
But I want a good guy. I'm not trying to trap a guy.
But there, you're 32 now. Did you feel the same way when you were 25?
Yes, I did.
And you couldn't find any nice guys out there?
Nice guys who are decent. Either they're already taken.
No, they're not.
They're with, or
no, they're not.
Women.
They're not taken. They're not taken.
Bitches.
They're out there right now. They're not taken. Well, it's like this guy who wrote into Dear Abby. They're told that they're nice, they're boring, they don't have enough money, they don't have anything going for them, whatever. That's what they're told.
I don't want to be stuck with a bad boy because I know they're no good. They don't have jobs. They don't do anything but sit on their ass.
How many of them have you been with?
What, bad boys?
Mm-hmm.
I learned my lesson with the first one, and that was it.
All right. But you see, you went with the bad boy before you went with the nice guy.
Right. Yes, I did. But
you probably ignored a certain number of nice guys along the way.
No, I didn't.
So
no, I didn't.
Ever. Come on.
I didn't. I swear to you.
Come on.
Tom, it's hard to find men who are not liars,
It's easy to find them. They're at the library on Friday night. They're sitting in front of their computers. That's where they are, dear. They're sitting in church basements going to singles mixers.
Church basements? Church is the worst place to meet a man.
How do you know?
I've tried it.
And what'd you get?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing? You got nice guys that were boring.
There's some guys in church who are probably nice, but those aren't the ones who are approaching me. There's ones that go to church that are trying to find some woman just to spread their legs easily.
At church? What kind of church do you go to?
There's a lot of hypocrites in church.
My goodness. People who want you to get on your knees and then get into the missionary position.
Yes, exactly. So all I'm saying is all women are not looking for bad guys. I wouldn't mind dating a Poindexter at all because I go for brains more than just...
But there, you've had all these years and you haven't found one?
I live in the state of California.
Ramon.
Men out here want trophy wives. I'm very pretty. I have my own car, my own place. I don't have children, which is quite rare. But I don't want to deal with another man's kids either. You know how hard
I don't blame you.
Hell,
I don't want to deal with anybody's old rubbish. I don't want to be picking up anybody's old garbage. No way.
No, I don't either. And it's hard to meet a man nowadays with no kids.
Or at least one who hasn't been accused of impregnating someone.
Right.
Right or wrong.
Exactly.
I know, but again, put it this way. At least when a guy's had kids, usually he doesn't have custody.
Okay, I understand that.
So,
but then
at least you don't have to be around them most of the time.
Calling all days and all times of night, talking about they need diapers or whatever. You know, I don't want to deal with that.
No, I don't even blame you for that. But come on, there's plenty of guys out there. I mean, look, I'm 48. I have no kids.
Mm-hmm.
None of that baggage. But guess what? When I was, 14, 15, 16, it was very hard to get the attention of girls back then because they were dating guys who were 25, 23.
I understand that. I understand. When I was a teenager, I was overweight, and it was hard for me to find guys who liked me because I was overweight.
Do you know how satisfying it is to get that notice of another high school reunion and to see pictures of some of the 100,000-mile-plus club that are going to my high school reunions?
Now they look horrible.
Right. Now, I'm looking pretty good now. But unlike the guy who wrote to Dear Abby, I'm not angry about it. Because I've taken revenge. I nail all the younger chicks I could possibly nail over the years.
And I'm not mad at you. You do your thing.
Yes. Anybody who went to high school with me, if you got a beautiful daughter, let me know. I'm in.
Say nail away. Do your thing.
That's right. Exactly.
So.
All right, Ramona. Well, good luck.
Okay. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
1-800-5800-TOM.
I wouldn't go for a guy just because he had money because, he might be a jerk.
You would if you were a 9 or a 10.
Why? Because the more beautiful you are, the stupider you are?
Bingo.
The Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. You can email us here at tom@blowmeuptom.com, as Dr. Mac did. Dr. Mac writes it. It says, Dear Tom, I found your topic that started off your hour very interesting, the story of Dear Abby and Poindexter. I, too, have a similar story that is beginning to unfold that I thought I would share with you. I have always been that nice guy, that good friend, that shoulder to cry on, and basically the pussy that the girls would call when they need someone reliable. For years, Tom, I was always chasing women, only to end up having them tell me that I was too good of a friend to lose, and that they didn't want to mess up our perfect friendship by getting any closer. My response, in my head, mind you, because I was still that nice guy, was, I don't need any more effing friends, I've got plenty. I'm a nice guy and people like me. What I do need is some nice poo. One chick even went so far as to ask me to babysit her daughter that she had with one of those bad guys that get all the poo. Guess what, Tom? I did it. Well, Tom, times have changed. I am still a nice guy. I have put myself through college with 2 degrees. I'm finishing medical school. This is, in fact, the first summer that I have had off since I started college. It's funny, though, Tom. Now that I am back and those bitches didn't want to ruin our friendship, I've discovered that I'm a year away from becoming a good old MD with all the rights, honors, privileges, power, and money that comes with it. Those bitches are eyeing me, and they won't leave me alone. They call and ask me out. What you doing Friday night, they ask. My response, not a goddamn thing with you. They're my age, 28, and most have kids or a no-good job or whatever baggage they carry. I am waiting, Tom, waiting for that 20-year-old to bang and kick to the curb. Why? Because now I'm going to have the money. And now that these used whores want me, they can't even get close, and that is the best revenge I can have. Thought you might get a kick out of that, Tom. Regards, Dr. Mac. God, I love that. Laura on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Daddy?
Yes.
Oh, my God, I've been waiting for so long to talk to you.
Here we are.
Okay, here's the deal. You had a lady call earlier, and she was saying how that there's no good quality guys her age. I agree with her. I'm 39 years old. I have no children. This is by choice. I was married one time, and my husband was never home to take care of my needs. which are really very simple. And the last guy I was with, 5 years, it turned out that he lied to me about just about everything. And
what do you do for a living, dear?
Actually, I've had 2 careers. I'm currently a tile setter. I own my own business, and I'm also a paralegal.
So you work a lot of hours?
No, not really. I work 4 days, and then I'm off for 2 weeks, and then I'll do another job that's 6 days, then I'm off for a month. You know, my hours are very flexible. I travel when I want to. I have friends.
There's not a lot of guys who want to sit around waiting for you to come home, sweetheart. That might be part of your problem. 39 years old, can't find a guy. I think we figured it out.
The Tom Leykis Show.